What's going on, people? I'm going to try to finish this video as quick as I can because I noticed my battery time is short. Okay, I didn't take the time out to charge the battery up before I decided to do this video. So the battery is kind of short, so I'm going to try to rush this video through. But I want to deal with a topic that I hadn't really seen discussed too often on YouTube. And it's dealing with children or raising children that's gifted, that is born with a spiritual gift. Now, I was born what they call a veil over my face. And I came into this world with a gift, or better yet, with several gifts. There's the physical gift which people have where they're artists, they're musicians, they may have a vocal voice where they can sing, some type of natural talent that could earn them a financial means and sometimes a wealth. And then there's the gift where they're spiritually gifted. They're born with a gift where they have dreams, they have visions, they're able to see into the future, or they're able to see the unseen, and they stand out from everyone else. They're different, they know they're different, and the people around them view them as different. But when it comes to raising a child that's gifted, parents have to be careful. For example, because I was born gifted, I noticed my sons were also born gifted. And from a child, they started seeing things. They have visions and they have dreams from a very young age. Now, because of the fact that I actually traveled the path that they're now traveling, I knew how to deal with them. So when they had a nightmare, when they were afraid to go to sleep at night, or when they cried, I wasn't the type of parent that would scold them, because sometimes, parents that really don't know what to do, they don't understand it. So they tend to become frustrated, and they'll end up discouraging that child that's gifted. They will yell at that child, go to sleep, there's nothing there. Now, the child senses something or sees something that you don't. So when that child is afraid to sleep with the light off, or that child says that he or she can see snakes, or he or she could see images, and you're talking to your child and your child is pointed at something, telling you that there's something there, and you become either afraid, confused, or frustrated, and then you end up scolding that child. That child now is put in a position where they have to repress that gift or that talent. And in many cases, when they start repressing their gift and their talents, because you have to realize when a person is born with a spiritual gift, although that gift is good, there's no gift or talent that's a curse. Nothing within itself is a curse. You have to understand or understand that when a child is born with a certain talent or gift, they're going to attract other things that's like himself, whether it's negative or whether it's good. They're going to attract that. It's like if you take some sugar. Sugar is good for tea, it's good for Kool-Aid, it's good for coffee, it's good for baking cakes and cookies, puts a smile on people's face. But if you take some sugar and drop it on the floor, it's going to attract ants. You're going to get ants because ants are attracted to sweet things. And that's how it is when it comes to spiritual gifts. It's a gift, and it's for the purpose of protecting you and also protecting others, because now you can see things that other people can't see. And even if you try to warn them, if you don't know how to really use your gift and you try to warn someone, you could end up scaring them rather than helping them, because they don't understand how you know. Or especially if you're trying to warn them about someone that they think they love, and the person they think they love is more of a threat to them. So you try to warn them of that threat. Depending upon how you deliver that message, you now become the enemy or the target. And now they take their frustration and aggression out on you because you're trying to warn them about someone that they think they love. So when it comes to a child that's born with a gift or talent, you have to love them. You have to be patient with them, and you have to nourish them. I thank the Most High that my mom's was the kind of person that understood. Like, my whole family was aware of my gifts from a very young age. So I had the support from my mother and my father. So when I had dreams, when I had visions, when I had nightmares, because a lot of times you get a lot of nightmares, and it's not that the gift or talent is bad or unfavorable. It's the fact that you are now attracting things in the spirit realm. You become a vortex that attracts good and bad energy just because of your nature, just because of the spirit or gifts that you were born with. So now you attract that. So that's why when a person is spiritually gifted, they can go either way. See, all good and perfect gifts come from God. It comes from above. But once you receive these gifts, depending upon which energy influences you the most, that's the direction you find yourself going in. So you don't need tarot cards. You don't need Ouija boards. You don't need to contact psychics or play with dark toys or tools of the dark arts, because you have that natural gift and ability to call things forward. But if you don't have the right guidance, namely your parents, to encourage you and to understand and not make you feel like a freak, if you don't have that family, that support in your family, because to be honest, it's really hard to talk to people. It's like you feel like you're in this world alone. Nobody really understands you. Because there's things that I see, there's things that I've experienced that I can't talk to anybody about. There's very few people that I can go to and talk about my dreams and my visions. Very few people that would even understand. Because even when it comes to spiritual leaders, you could go to a preacher or a pastor, and you think because of the fact that he's a pastor or he's a spiritual leader that he's going to understand. But in most cases, they don't understand. They may say to you, once you try to explain that to a pastor and he can't understand you, he's going to always fall back on, well, just pray on it, and ask God for guidance. Stay faithful, stay in God's word, because they don't understand it, and they have no answers for you. So when a spiritual leader can't understand you and you can't go to them, then you have to go within yourself. Or if you have that support at home where you could talk to your family members and tell them about different dreams or visions or what have you, and they'll understand, because that spiritual leader, although he's a pastor and he may put on the act that he's spiritual and he understand, in his mind he's thinking, this person need to be on medication. This person's on some serious drugs, This person ain't wrapped too tight in their minds, because they themselves are not spiritual. They may put on the front that they're spiritual, but when you start talking to them about spiritual things, when a real talented and gifted person talks to a pastor, that pastor either becomes envious and jealous of that person, or he fears that person and don't want to deal with that person because he have no answers for him. So it's important for parents that have gifted and talented children to be in support of them. You have to comfort them. You don't yell at them and make them go to bed and they're telling you that they feel something in your room and there's nothing in your room. See, and you open closet doors and whatnot, but they're dealing with the unseen. See, you're dealing with that natural mind, see, that don't understand the things of God. Because, see, this child can spiritually discern something. And in many cases, if you pay attention to your child that's gifted, that may just save your life. Because that child now see things that you don't see. And by that child's fears, that don't mean you become fearful. It just means that you open your awareness and you be aware of who's around you and what's around you. All right, so you have to love and support your child. Like my granddaughter, she's 5 years old, but she's now showing signs of spiritual gifts because she now see things. All right, and so I had to talk to, her mom's the other day and let her know, like, look, you gotta, watch how you talk to her, like, especially if she see things and she's telling you, because her mom sometimes, like, when she starts seeing things and she's trying to point out to her mother gets scared. Her mother gets scared because, she's scary anyway, but she gets scared because my granddaughter see things that she can't see, and she's trying to point it out to her that it's there. And I was telling my son's moms about that too. I said, you have to, don't be quick to say, just be quiet and go to sleep. There's nothing there. I said, you have to really be compassionate with her. And like I said, I thank God for my moms, because I woke up many nights screaming as a child, man, because of the things that I've seen. Things that came to me as a child. Okay. I was like my granddaughter's age, man, and maybe younger. And I was waking up screaming because of entities that actually appeared to me. I'm looking at them, and in many cases, they're talking to me. And sometimes those spirits would come to you. They would relate to a child according to a child's understanding. So there was a time I used to wake up at a certain time at night, both me and my brother. And we used to see like cartoon images on the wall, and it's like a projector was playing from somewhere, and we sit there and watch movies on the woods. It's crazy. It sounds weird, but you talk to my brother, man, he'll tell you, man, we used to see these things, So I grew up seeing things. I remember waking up many nights screaming, man, things that I was seeing. And I remember and I told this story before, and I'm going to close out because the battery's low on this camera. I remember when the Jackson 5 first came out, when they made their debut on the Ed Sullivan Show. It was around Christmas time, and I remember, we went to bed, and where my room is like the living room. It's like my room, and then there's like the living room there, and there was the Christmas tree was up in there, right? And I remember I woke up one night and I was screaming, and my mom, she still got a scar on her leg where she hit. She walked. She was trying to get into the room to see what's wrong with me, because she heard me screaming, and she come running, and she bumped her leg on the edge of the chair, and to this day she's got a scar on her leg. And she came in there and turned the light on. What's going on? What's the matter? I saw a fat lady. And this woman, I'm telling you, I'm in the bed by myself. I'm a child, right? And I'm like laying in the bed, and I wake up and I see this woman laying next to me, this big fat woman, right? And you ever see that Aunt Jemima pancake bottle? It was that woman. It looked like her, right? It looked like her. I'm not going to say it's her. It looked like her. And she had like a head rag on her head. And I woke up and I seen her. And all I saw was these big white eyes looking at me in the night, laying next to me. And I looked at that and I touched it. And when I touched it, it was flesh. Man, I let out the biggest scream. I was yelling. And my mother come running in there. She turned the lights on. Click, what's wrong with you? You know, I saw a fat lady laying beside me, right? And so what my mom used to do, whenever I had visions, you know, because I remember I had this vision, and I'm in the video. I had this vision, man. I woke up crying because I forgot exactly what the vision was, but I had this vision, and I woke up crying. And my mother came in there, and she was like, "What's the matter?" I was like, "Mom, it was bad. It was bad." I was telling her how bad the dream or the vision was. And she said, "Well, just get up." Because like whenever I had a dream or vision, it kind of, you know, put my mom's on alert because she knew something was coming, right? And that's why I say it's good to have parents that support you and understand you. And she said, "Well, get up, you know, and wash your face, you know, and just, you know, sit here for a little while and relax." You know, she comforted me, right? And that morning, I say around 9 or 10 o'clock that morning, she got a phone call from down south. And her cousin, his wife, shot him. See, he came home from work, and instead of like knocking on the door, he forgot his key. So he decided to come through the window. And she thought it was a burglar, and she shot him and put a hole in his chest big enough to put your head through. She killed her husband because he was coming through the window, and she thought he was a burglar. And that was the vision that I saw when I woke up, you know. And my mom said that was the vision. And see, when you have a parent that pays attention to their children and not always scold them, like when they have a dream or nightmare or when they're afraid to go to sleep, you know, if you have a parent that supports you and just sit back and just be aware, be observant, be aware. So when your child says something, just don't dismiss it. Put that in the back of your head and kind of be watchful. Because then when it happened, my mom says, that was his vision. That was what you saw, right? And she, you know, brought an understanding to me. So, excuse me. So, I just had some hash browns, man. So, the hash browns keep coming up now. But anyway, I know that's nasty. Didn't mean to bring that up. But anyway, I'm going to end this video. But if you have a child, an indigo child, or a spiritually gifted child, a child is born that dreams, that have visions, don't dismiss that, man. Don't take them to see no psychologist. Don't try to put them on no medication or nothing, man. You just be there as a support.